Start talking to the people first, and then we gonna converse.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey, people.
What's going on, everybody? We're back again for the Servant Slave channel. So today I have with me Kendra Mulder. She is an entrepreneur. She's got her own clothing line that she does by hand. So we're gonna talk to her for a little bit and see what makes things tick. So Kendra, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, long time. So I understand that your product is called the Rebrth movement.
It's actually called Rebrth, and then our tagline is more than a movement.
Okay.
But yes.
So how did the name come about, Rebrth?
So Rebirth literally is like finding yourself all over again. So I looked at like all the trials and tribulations that I had been through my life between getting married, having kids, getting degrees, being a single mother at one point, having a child who had a terminal illness, different things like that. And I looked at myself and I realized that I literally lost myself in everything. It's like you see glimpses of yourself in your everyday life, like, oh, I used to love those things. I used to do this and I used to do that. But you truly lost yourself. And I created Rebrth as not only for me, but for all people, men and women alike, who essentially lose themselves. Whether you lose yourself in your career, whether you lose yourself in your religion, whether you lose yourself in your family, whatever it is that causes us to lose our identity. I created Rebrth so we can go back to find our own individual purposes, so we can continue to live out our full lives. And that's the key behind Rebrth. It's like literally rebirthing yourself. Don't forget about you in the process of life.
So basically, by finding your creativity and your art through your line,
right,
you got back to who you are.
Absolutely. So actually, Rebrth is actually an umbrella brand. A lot of people don't know that. Okay. And so I began to prepare to get into the public speaking world, both for my professional life, which I am a CSW, studying and under supervision to become an LCSW, which is a licensed social worker, so I can do therapy and have a private practice and things like that. But I also work in the school system. And then in addition to that, I'm a mentor in my community. Again, I have the clothing line and things like that. So the clothing line essentially speaks to my mission and my profession and my lifestyle. It's like a holistic all-in-one type thing. Yeah. Don't laugh at me.
Yeah. So, so what inspired you to do t-shirts the way that you do? Because if I'm not mistaken, your focus is a powerful message with a simplistic shirt, right?
Exactly.
So what made you go with that particular approach? Because
it's my personality. Like, I'm very, when you look at me before I open my mouth, I just look like anybody else. I'm very low key, you know, but as soon as I open my mouth, you're going to see the power that's inside. Like, it's pretty evident. I know that I have a very dominant personality, and I feel like as I've gotten older, I've learned that you can say more by saying less.
Okay.
And that's what made me want to speak through my art, through my t-shirts, and through what I do. So I'm trying to condition myself and teach others that you can be impactful without saying too much.
Or too loud.
Or, yeah, too loud. I like to be loud sometimes, but you know, sometimes people need loud. Shake something up a little bit.
Shake a lot of it. Okay, so I also read on your website that you craft everything by hand. Like
Absolutely.
You come up with the designs by hand. So what exactly what is that process like? What does it take to come up with that?
So the process is literally you're sitting down. I think about like fonts. What type of fonts do I really like? I wanted something that was very catchy, but not too overboard, something that would make your head hurt. I wanted something that was unisex, because I feel like Rebrth to be able to reach anybody, any age from 2 months to 200. You know what I mean? Like, literally, there's no 200-year-olds, but you get where I'm being sarcastic. But anyway, I wanted something that could reach all people. So literally, the process involves sitting in front of a computer, you're researching fonts, you're researching ways to make fonts look good together. You're thinking about ways to formulate words together that make sense without having someone reading a paragraph on your shirt and they're like, you know what, I'm done with this, or whatever it is that you're presenting. And then from there, sometimes I use Photoshop. Sometimes I use my Cricut app a lot. A lot of people don't realize how much you can do a Cricut. So basically, a Cricut is like a crafting machine.
Okay.
And you can do so much with a Cricut if you want to take in the time, sit down, and take the time to learn it, just like with anything else.
Right.
And then I taught myself how to screen print. And then I also taught myself like how to use my Cricut to do like heat press and things like that.
Okay. So you use this Cricut to do all of your own all your own printing.
Right. So I use it, my Cricut to create my shells for when I screen like this, and then for like shirts where I do like vinyl or things like that, then I can literally print, weed everything by hand. Weeding means like taking the excess material away from the Cricut design, and then heat press it myself. Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing that I don't do by hand is embroidery, which is on the hats. I do this.
That's not.
I do this.
That's not you.
No, that part's not me. So I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. That wasn't me.
Sometimes you gotta know what your strengths are and
Absolutely.
stick to those.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a red, right?
Dig that. So with your using your Cricut and you put heat pressing designs on everything, does that impact what products you choose to use? Because mostly you said t-shirts, hats for embroidery, and your vinyl. So if you decided to branch out to a different type of material or a different product, would the fact that you do most of it by hand impact that? Would that influence it?
No, not really. What really influences me is the current market. What matters right now. I feel like I'm a firm believer that if you see somebody else do it, you can figure out how to do it yourself. So I feel like there's not really too much I couldn't learn how to do. And so I think what really impacts anything that I keep in stock or anything that I sell or anything that I create, it literally depends on what the market is wanting. And as a double-edged sword, and it's just as important, what am I trying to convey? Because at the same time, I don't want to just push out a message to the mainstream just because it's selling.
Right.
I want to push out something because it means something to me, and I know it's going to mean something to somebody else. So that's what impacts what I do and don't do.
So where do you, I guess, get your inspiration for the different pieces? Because this is this t-shirt right here.
Yes.
You gonna pause? Is the t-shirt that I see most often when I go to your website and I go to your Facebook and what have you. So
actually, this is a new design.
Is that a new
Nobody has seen this one until today. So the one that's on my website, the one that's on my website, I wanted the whole entire message to be on front. It's literally a conversation starter. First of all, they see the Rebrth, they see how it's written, they see how it's spelled. What is Rebrth? What does that mean? Where did you get that name from? What do you mean it's more than a movement? Is this your movement? Then they understand. That opens up the conversation of what is Rebrth about? What do I want you to get from this message? What do I want you to feel when you wear this shirt? It opens up that message. And that's one thing, like I told you, I did a face-to-face event today. And it was able to facilitate those conversations between me, my husband, my kids, my mother, father-in-law, family, whatever. We all wear Rebrth shirts every day. Somebody related to me has on a Rebrth shirt wherever they're going in their everyday life. And every day someone's asked, well, what does that mean? Where'd you get that from? What made them write that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's literally to generate a conversation. So if a person never purchases, at least it gets them thinking about, what am I going to do for me today? What am I going to do to find me?
So you mentioned the shirt itself. Now, when I was doing the research, I went to the wrong website about 12 times.
Okay.
Because I misspelled it.
Okay.
Because there's no I in Rebrth in
Right.
your brand. So tell me how that came about. Like you purposely did that.
I did.
Okay. So you purposely did that. So how did that come about? What made you decide to spell it differently?
Well, I am a person who likes things to stand out in a very unique way. I had researched what the meaning of the word Rebrth meant in different languages. I had looked at so many different things. And first of all, let me back up. So my original name for my business was K. Creations, and I became obsessed with an octagon. Like obsessed with the octagon. I wanted an octagon shape, but it just did not look right. And it had like diamonds in it and stuff. It was just trash. So I was like, well, what is it about this shape that it's reminding me of? And so I started breaking down the origin of an octagon and the shapes that are involved in the octagon. Long story short, the base of it ended up being Rebrth. Like octagons are kind of seen in some cultures as like renewal, rebirthing, or things like that. And I was like, maybe that's why that's obsessing me so much, because it's not the shape, but it's the meaning. So then I started staring at the word Rebrth, and I was like, I don't like the way this word looks. And that's literally what it was. And I was like, it's not catchy. It doesn't make sense to me. If I seen somebody it's spelled the right way and like, a general font, I would not be interested in this. And for me, this movement is more than that. It's not something that's just plain Jane, a passing fad. Like, this is a lifestyle for me. And so I really started looking for fonts that really stood out to me, and I started looking for spellings that stood out to me too. And I took the I out. And the I mean, it's individual, right? So it's not just about me. You take the I out, it's Rebrth, it's everybody, minus the I, right? Because, no I. No, me. It's everybody. You know. Okay.
I'm not fooling with you, man. Okay, so you mentioned, about how you want people to feel when they wear the shirt. So what do you want them to feel when they're wearing the shirt?
I want them to feel like they matter. I want them to feel like they have an identity outside of their everyday life. I want them to stop feeling like they're created people, this robot's created to do all day. If you really sit down and you break down the 16 to 18 hours you are up, depending on how much you sleep a day, up in a day, some people 20 hours you're up, whatever, like my husband, about 20 hours too. So if you break down the amount of time that you're up in the day, how many hours, how many minutes are you spent worried about yourself? How many, and when I say thinking about yourself, I'm not talking about going to work and earning a paycheck. I'm not talking about, I'm going to cut my grass because my yard's a mess. I'm going to go wash these dishes. In my case, I'm going to make sure these kids is together because they're wearing me out.
Does a bathroom break count?
Bathroom break does not count unless you're doing some type of reflection in there. But when are you slowing down for you?
Right.
That's what I want people to think about. What really matters to me? What are you tapping into that really is bringing you pleasure? Some people it's exercise. Some people it's art. I love to paint. What am I doing? Things says literally I'm just going to sit down and I do it. And just because I love to do it. We don't do that anymore. Okay. And we get ran into the ground. And Black people especially feel like, or minorities in general, feel like we have to overcompensate because we are made to believe that we're not equal to the rest of the world. And that's not true. So what are we going to do to start tapping back into us and to realize again that we matter, our mental health matters, our physical health matters, and our spiritual health matters? What are you doing for you? And that's what I want people to feel. That's what I want people to think. That's what I want people to process and really, meditate upon when they wear their shirts. Not necessarily meditate, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, to get that feeling.
Let it simmer. And let it be a reminder every time you look down at your shirt or you look in the mirror or someone stops and asks you, what's your shirt mean? Oh yeah, I gotta take care of me today. I'm gonna be alright today because I'm gonna do something for me.
It's a pretty slick reminder.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm all for self-care.
I can dig it. So you paint?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about painting something and then putting it on a shirt?
No.
Why
because for me, I feel like some things in my life are very intimate versus other things I'm meant to share with the world. It's just like some people, they love to sing, but they'll never sing in front of a crowd because that's how they soothe themselves. Right. It's more of those things. And when you sometimes take something that you love or you're good at and you start to make it mainstream, it can kind of impact the meaning it has for you. Right. Because it can be turned into work. And so I believe some things you keep separate just so you can take care of yourself and not feel like you're obligated to that thing anymore.
I can definitely understand. That makes perfect sense. So right now, the company, is it basically just you?
Yes. Me, my husband, my kids help. But yeah, it's us. But I will say that I do have a team of people that I have just formed. Whenever I come up with new shirt ideas, my friends, first of all, are a huge part of when I create things. 9 times out of 10, if I create it, I like it. So I'm not going to show it to anybody else in the first place if it's trash. Right. But then I have a group of friends that I've known for years that I run stuff by them. I've met people kind of along the way that have been huge, like through my husband and through other people, with giving me their opinions and their feedback. And so I have officially begun the process of creating a team of people, a very diverse team, to give their input on, yes, I like these, I like this, no, I like this. What makes you create this? What is the why in this? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To make sure I stay humble with what I'm doing, I'm staying on track, and I'm not chasing a dollar. Okay, good. You know what I mean?
So that's what I was going to ask, if you were thinking about like maybe bringing the company out bigger. Is it like just for, I guess their input, like what they think about shirts, or is it going to be more than that? Or
as of right now, it's input. However, as Rebrth grows, again, I want it to become a movement to where we're really out talking to people and teaching people how to care for themselves and teaching them how to find themselves. Because how many times have you had a conversation with someone, you're like, what makes you happy? What do you love to do?
And they don't know.
I don't know.
That's sad.
Working out. It's everybody's thing. Working out makes me feel better. I bet it does. You're moving your body, but that's not what we're talking about. What legitimately makes you smile every day, or you can do for the rest of your life and be happy? There is not many people who can ask that question. You should do that in the program. Just go out on the streets and ask people.
I love to read.
See? But you know this, right?
I do know this.
I can answer that question for a long time. For a long time.
I know some people who are like that.
There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
And so, eventually I want us to be able to grow to where we're reaching and teaching on how can you discover what you like, how can you etch time into your day or make those mental notes and make them a part of your daily lifestyle to start taking care of you. And then on top of that, how can you incorporate this into your everyday life too? How can you bring this into the workplace? How can you bring this into your religious organization if you go to church or your synagogue or mosque or whatever you believe in? How can you put this into your religious aspect? Because we lose our identity.
Right.
It's all about having self-actualization while still being true to what you love at the same time.
I can understand that. So you mentioned before that Rebrth is actually an umbrella company.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say that, are you saying that there are companies that you have under that right now, or that you're forming them, or?
I say it's an umbrella company. That means that I have entities up under Rebrth that I'm exploring. Does it make sense? And so the public speaking aspect would be one of the things that you would say that was under there. I've been asked to talk to people about grief, especially grief of a child, because that's something that people like to tiptoe around. Because I am a young black professional, people have asked me to speak about what it's like to be a young black woman in a corporate world with a dominant personality. Or not even a corporate world, but in a professional world, period. I work a lot with kids who are lower income, things like that. And so I've been asked to speak at conferences that speak to how do you reach these kids and educate them, like different things like that. So Rebrth is more than just, this is a nice saying, let's put it on a shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to rebirth everything I touch. Let's bring new life to this. And that's why when I say it's an umbrella, literally, because we're going to branch out and Rebrth is going to touch all these different avenues from that perspective.
Okay. So you're here now.
I am.
We're looking at the future. What are your goals? Like, what is your hope for Rebrth? Like the umbrella, the movement, everything as a whole. What is it you're looking to accomplish, like 10, 20 years down the road?
10, 20 years down the road, if someone looked at me and said, Kendra, what is your biggest accomplishment with your company or with your business or whatever word they use at the time, it would be that I taught people how to have peace with themselves. And I taught people how to love themselves. That's what I want it to be. I want to be able to say that I have reached whatever amount of people that God allows me to reach and effectively deliver a message that helps them remove all the weight that life has put on us and begin to walk into their true self so they can truly enjoy the life that they were given. So we can live and not be.
And how long ago did you say that you discovered like the self-care and how important that was to you?
So I'm a social worker by trade.
Right.
So all through undergrad and graduate school, they preach self-care, self-care, self-care. And I didn't listen until actually my son was in the midst of his stem cell transplant, my 5-year-old, when he was going through that. And he could not leave his room at all in the hospital because, he's he was immunocompromised and things like that. And being in the room for 24 hours, only stepping out for 30 minutes to take a shower and another 30 minutes to grab food, it'll drive you crazy.
Right.
And that's when I started realizing you have got to take care of you. Yes, you're taking care of your son, but you have a village around you. You literally have nurses, doctors, volunteers in the hospital at your beck and call to help you with these things. And that's when I discovered if you want to take care of you, it can be done. There's people around you. You just got to be willing to let certain people in. Of course, use discernment, but you have to let people in. And that's when I started discovering how important self-care was, because not only was it helping me that I was getting away and clearing my head and getting myself back on track, but it was helping him too, because he had other people coming in the room. He was getting different point of views, different perspectives. And he had visitors. He was happy because that was his self-care, because he's a social butterfly. Right. Because I was gone, somebody had to come in. So, and of course I won't leave for hours at a time, but I would just take a couple extra minutes to do things. And that's when I was like, man, this really is important, because it turned my frown literally upside down. Literally. Because I don't like to sit still.
Right.
So that's when I really started realizing it. And again, I seen how important it was for him too. Just to do the things that he loved that made him happy. And be able to have other people to do it with.
So what kind of differences have you seen in your life since you've come to this realization?
I value things differently. As crazy as it sounds, I don't care as much about money. Like, I look at it like a bill's gonna get paid and help is gonna get paid. Like, lights ain't been out yet, knock wood. But we've been doing fine, you know what I mean? In spite of everything we went through. I look at things from a different light. I think that I've really, every time I look at somebody and I start to think a thought that's like really judgmental or things like that, I pull it back and I'm like, how would you feel if it was you? Or what do you not know about this person that they're going through?
Right.
Or what is it that this person may be missing? Or what love did they miss? Or what freedom did they not give? And I think about it like how people are in mental bondage. Like, what is your self-esteem like to allow you to feel like you can't get out of this or whatever you're facing? Right. So it really makes me look at people in a different light, and it makes me want to help more, and help not because I know what I'm talking about, but help because I just want you to be able to find yourself, and I want you to be happy. You know what I mean? I went from being the professional to the helper.
So since you started your company to get this message out, have you noticed any, like, I understand the differences in how you see things ever since you discovered how important, self-care was. But ever since you started the company, and so you started, trying to get this message out more and more, have you seen a difference in yourself?
Yeah, it makes me really look at how I carry myself in everyday life. Like, I'm so much more conscious of the things that I say. Now, granted, you're going to get what you're going to get, but I'm so much more conscious of, dang, does this sound like super judgmental? Like, is this rude? Did I really say that out of pocket? And again, some people you need the raw deal. Like, you got to be honest with, you got to be real with, and I'm not cutting that out at all.
Right.
Like, it's not going to happen. You can ask some of my friends, you're going to get what you're going to get, because I'm going to be honest with you. But things are coming out of a place of love now, versus a place of, you doing this because I know what's wrong.
Right.
And you need to fix this. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fixer. But I've learned that there's different ways to fix things without just telling people what to do and expect them to do what you say, because you said it.
Because you come up with a different approach now.
Absolutely.
In helping to fix.
And helping them fix the fix is them.
Right.
And that's what I realized. I'm not the fix. I help you find your fix within yourself.
Because it's different for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. I can do that.
It's not, I've taken away some of the power and given it back to people.
And you've given it to the people.
Absolutely.
Look at you as a giver.
I know. Generous. I'm really not that bossy, guys. I've grown up.
Oh wait, sorry, this is my interview. Okay, so what else should we know about Rebrth? Like, do you have any like big things coming up, big movements, big something different or whatnot, or
so
what we got going on?
We're gonna have a couple new items go on the website. We've expanded just a little bit, and then we're phasing out our summer line. So some of the favorite things that people like from the summer, such as the leggings, tracksuits, and things like that, once they're gone, they're gone. We're not going to restock those, but we're going to come out with a fall line. And it's going to be things very simplistic again, but it's going to be some pretty cool things. We're going to have a couple things come out for the men. We have like some men's sweatsuit, like sweat shorts coming out. He actually has them on, but we have some shorts like that coming out for the men. And then we're also probably going to start doing some more speaking engagements, things like that. So you'll start seeing us more on that platform as well. Vendor events, so people can see us face to face. I know I really do enjoy doing online sales, but I also love to meet the people who are interested in our product, because it really gives me a chance to convey our message from a place that is not like, hey, you just come buy this because I said so, but no, this is really the purpose behind it. I don't care if you buy anything or not. I want you to understand this is what I want you to know. So, yeah, just some more vendor events this summer. Fall line coming out, hopefully, tentatively early September is when that'll start falling, into place. Hopefully. Keep you posted. How logistics go, things and whatnot. But yeah, that's what you should see from us for now. And then in the future, we would really like to start branching out, having conferences and things like that, where people can come in for little to no cost to them, and really start doing that self-exploration and really get motivated and really start that walk of finding their true self.
Is that what your speaking engagements are about? Is the message of finding yourself and self-care and such?
Yeah, it's just a matter of what realm we're speaking in.
How do you mean?
So, if I'm going to a expo for Black women who are professionals in the workplace, how do you navigate the workplace by being yourself? Because Black women are often seen as aggressive, loud, dominant, or we're expected to kind of just shell off and be quiet because of our personality types. A lot of times that's a stereotype. That's not who we are, but it's a stereotype that Black women face. So I will talk about, in a stance like that, How do you navigate yourself as a Black professional woman? How do you not lose yourself in the world, a professional world, because of what everybody else wants to see in you? Where does the work start? How do you make it happen? And how do you still continue to have a successful career while doing it? You know, because some people don't like it. So how do you continue to keep your job, grow up the ladder if that's what you choose to do, while still not losing yourself? So that's an example of different things like that. If we're talking about parenting, how do you parent? How do you go to school? How do you do this while not losing yourself? Because in the professional world, how you would avoid losing yourself is completely different than how you would not lose yourself as a parent. Or how do you not lose yourself as a spouse? I'm a wife, so how do I keep my identity separate from my husband but still remain one with my spouse?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like things like that. How can you maintain you? And it's different for everybody. And it's different cultures who will look at it in different ways. And so you have to really be educated on that. So I do a lot of research on how do people look at individualism. Because, you know, a lot of Western societies look at collectiveness, or which is like the group or family, everything's about community. But even then, you don't see people all performing.
True.
So it's that, how do you, you know, pick apart those fine strings, I guess you would say, and create a beautiful woven pattern of individualism while
at the same time.
collective. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I like that.
So yeah.
I like that. That's pretty dope.
Thank you.
That's kind of dope. Don't get a big head, but that's kind of dope.
None of that. Trust me, it's all God, because I don't know. It's what He gives me, so that's what I go with.
Dig that. So it sounds like for your product and for your movement, you don't necessarily have a target audience. You kind of want to reach everybody.
Yeah.
But you also have different parts of the message for different
Absolutely.
parts of the whole.
Holistically, you know, I want to be able to reach little Johnny in 3rd grade. I want to be able to reach little Sally's Greenie, who's 83. I want to be able to reach, you know, little Debo Dem Street, who's playing basketball. I want to be able to reach everybody, because everybody has a true self. But when it comes to speaking to a specific audience, I want to be able to help that specific audience as well, because how you would help little Sally's Greenie is not how you would help Debo, and that's not how you would help little Johnny. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a general message, but there's also very specific points that certain people need versus others.
Sounds like you do a lot of walking the line between the individual and
yeah, you gotta know people, and that's the thing. Like, social work is based in systems theory. The summary, it's like the sum of all the moving parts is the sum of a whole part. Basically, is what social work is. So you have the individuals in the family, so the individual in the whole, and you have to figure out how to make them link as one. Literally, that's my life. So, and that's why I think this means so much to me, because the individual matters just as much as the whole part. So how do you let them work in a cohesive manner?
I like it.
Thank you.
Okay. You got anything else that you wanna add? Shout out. Your Facebook, your IG. Twitter.
Yeah, so you can follow us on
Black
Twitter. Boy, listen, I tried to find my login from Black Planet. I cannot get that thing. My email was probably so ratchet, I can't even remember it.
I don't think they still have the servers for that.
Sorry, the service is still there. It's there. It's there. I just don't know my email. Because I want to see the ratchetness. Okay. So you can follow us on Facebook. We're just at Rebrth, Rebrth. You can follow us on Instagram at The Rebrth Movement, or you can follow us on Twitter at Rebrth Movement. And then you can also look at our website. It's www.therebrthmovement.com. Again, it's TheRebrthmovement. No I.com.
What she said.
What I said.
But don't worry, we're gonna give you a page.
Yeah.
So y'all can see everything that what she's talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So Kendra, I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, this was definitely
It was fun. A blast from the past, right?
fun. I was gonna say interesting, but fun is cool. Yeah. I feel like I owe you money. I don't know what to say no more, but yes.
You probably listen. I'm gonna start charging in the look now. You know it's all love. It's fair, man.
Look,
it's all love. I'm just playing. Nah, I love to give nuggets, man. I love to give any. I'm a firm believer. If you don't know something that could help somebody else, whether it's you or the people that you're servicing, I feel like you should give it. Like, the money gonna come.
True.
Whatever God has for you was gonna come, and it's gonna be sitting in your bank account when it's time, as long as you're working for it. But I feel like you should not hold on to something that can free somebody else. It's not fair.
I like that. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's for you and it's for others, you gotta share.
Definitely, I'm gonna give it up.
I feel that. So let me borrow your car right quick.
Listen, that's his car.
Oh.
My kind of home.
Oh, let me get that.
Listen, no. We not gonna look at these cameras up. I'm gonna tell you about borrowing cars. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, but before we leave, hold on. Because before we leave, we gotta show you this. Kendra came in. She came in ready. She came in dressed to impress.
Listen, got on the shorts.
But more importantly,
got on the top.
bam! Look at that. Look at them joints.
Atmos.
She was so proud of her kicks.
I love my shoes.
Look at it.
And you can't find them. They sold out.
Where'd you get them from?
Sneakers out.
I don't know what that is, but all right.
Nike sneakers out.
Oh yeah, I'm not a sneakerhead like that. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these cameras off one more time on the t-shirt.
Thank you.